Because if somebody gets something wrong, they can just say, and if they're doing well, smart thinking. I'm just really happy and stressed, but at least I'm happy. I have a problem. What grade do I teach? And they were like, first grade? What grade are you in? First grade? And I said, exactly. So why are you? Good morning and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maylene Call from Miss Call's Campers. I am a first-year teacher in Tennessee and I'm so excited that you're here today. If you're not already part of our family, please consider clicking that red subscribe button down below. We would love to have you. Today is Monday. It's actually Martin Luther King Jr. Day and I'm home because we have this day off from school and I kind of saved most of the things that I normally do on a Sunday for today. So we are going to go ahead, get some iced coffee in this body and get this day started because I have a lot to do. So I have caught up on YouTube, I've caught up on Instagram, caught up on all of that stuff. I, cleaned my house with my husband and now I'm going to sit down and plan. So a lot of you guys asked me if I'm still enjoying my lesson planner and 100% yes, it's absolutely everything that I've needed. So I'm going to go ahead and plan out this 4-day week with you guys and go ahead and create any resources that I might need. So I think a lot of you guys enjoy seeing the planning aspect of teaching as much as the actual teaching part. So that's why I'm including it in these vlogs. I hope it's helpful to you guys. So let's get started. So I always keep the lesson plans that we do as a team in here just so I know what we're supposed to be doing for the week. But I, of course, always make my own lessons in my lesson planning space. So that's what I'm going to do now. First things first, I always type my standards and my goals in because planning without doing your standards first is absolutely pointless to me. I also like to just double check and make sure that the standard that's in our team plans is actually what we need to be doing, because there's a couple of times where it said we were supposed to be doing a certain thing in our plans and then I go and look at the full standard and I'm like, okay, I probably need to adjust it just a little bit so I can actually meet the standard. So I'm gonna go ahead and type my standards into my document and I hang these standards behind my back table every single week so I always can look and see, very quickly what I need to be focusing on. So I just finished up typing up my standards and I actually did a poll on Instagram and I asked you guys if you wanted a video dedicated to a Hey Tesla! If you wanted a video dedicated to standards, how I do them, how I make sure I'm following them. And you guys said yes. And if you're not following me on Instagram, head on over there because I do lots of fun things with you guys. I post pretty often, almost every single day, and I interact with you guys a lot more over there. But I will be doing a full standards dedication video for you guys in the future. When it is out, I will make sure to come back and link it here for you so you can find it. But I will go ahead and show you really quickly the standards that we are working on this week, and then I will lay out my plans in my planner. So in reading, we are using the text to ask and answer questions, and we're also comparing nonfiction texts online. In writing, we're actually doing our first personal narrative. We're doing The Day My Shadow Came to Life, and these are a couple of things that I'm looking for my first graders to do this week. For math, we are partitioning shapes into halves and quarters, and for science we are talking about light. So this is going to be a 2-week unit. This is just the first part of our unit and that is all we're doing this week. The way that our school does science and social studies is we do not have a dedicated block for science or social studies. Instead, we integrate it into our literacy block. So each week we teach either science or social studies. So that's why I don't have any social studies standards, because I'm sure some of you guys are curious, but yes, I do teach all of the subjects. Okay, I have laid out my plans. It is a little bit, well, it's a lot more sloppy than I normally have them, but you know what? That's okay because it doesn't need to be perfect. So now that my plans are laid out, I'm gonna go ahead and put together my weekly PowerPoint that I do, and I promise you guys, a video is coming on how I do my weekly PowerPoint. I just keep forgetting. I'm going to put it on my list right now. It is there, I promise I will get it done. I just have so many ideas right now and it's like they're all spinning in my head and I just gotta get them out to you. So I also have to text my husband really quick and see if he can pick up some brownies because I totally forgot when I'm introducing partitioning shapes tomorrow. I was gonna do a little brownie activity. And in all reality, I have all the ingredients. I could just make them from scratch. I think I'm just gonna get a box mix. One last thing I wanna mention before I go is the way I've been doing spelling tests in my classroom. Originally, our team was doing the standard, you say a word, you say a word, you say a word, you say a word, and we had like 12 words that we would test them on, but I switched to creating sentences for my students to write because I do teach first grade and we do need help with sentences, and I like it so much better because I can look for so many more things, not just could you spell this word. I can look at capitalization, spacing, handwriting, punctuation, whatever, you know, phonics skill we're practicing that week, whatever grammar skill we're practicing that week, and I've liked it a lot better. So the sentences I have picked out this week for long I, silent E are these 3 sentences, and I usually just do 3 sentences. So I have the long I, the long I, the long I, and then I have the long I, the long I, the long I, and then I have the long I, the long I, the long I, the long I. But this last one, I'm also doing commas in a series because that's a new skill we are working on this week, and we have already learned to capitalize names, so I'm really hoping that they're gonna do really well with this, especially since we have covered endings. That's what I'm doing this week. So that is it for my planning today. I am just going to wrap up my PowerPoint and I will see you tomorrow. Hello and happy Monday. It is 5:18 and I'm home, and I feel like that's pretty bad for a Monday, but we are doing this unit planning for an upcoming unit we're doing on fairy tales at school, and we are actually lucky enough to be getting some professional development hours for it. So every, I think, couple of weeks we're gonna stay after school and work on that, and I'm honestly not even really mad about staying. Normally, if you guys watch my vlogs on Mondays, I don't like to stay because everything is done. There's no reason for me to. I usually have worked hard all weekend and I just want to come home and rest, but you know, 5 o'clock isn't that bad. I don't think it's not terrible. I can do better. But we stayed until 4:30, so I'm gonna keep this Monday vlog pretty short because it was a pretty easygoing day, I do think. My kids are always so chatty on Monday, and I think it's just because honestly they have been waiting all weekend to talk to me. It was a 3-day weekend, and so they had even more to tell me, even more to share, and that's okay because I love talking to them. I did bake brownies last night. I remembered at the very last minute last night that I was going to do brownies as like a little introduction to partitioning shapes. And so, you know, I baked brownies, I brought them in, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna cut up my brownies like this. And I put it up on the projector, and I had like an image of a pan of brownies cut, and it was cut like all uneven. And we had a lot of talk before they finally got to what I was trying to lead them to, which is everybody should get an equal piece. I was really trying to get them to say the vocabulary instead of me giving it to them, but they got it and it was great. And we ended up cutting our brownies and eating them at recess because I was like, I'm not even gonna bother eating these in the classroom. We're just gonna take them out to recess because recess is right after math. And math today was actually really fun. I always like teaching math, but I am a little nervous because honestly, my math is not nearly as planned as my reading. I think for most people it's that way because I kind of just go with the flow of the kids, and like I know what I need to teach them, but I kind of like for them to lead me there. And I'm really worried about my observation because, you know, observations have to be super planned out. You have to list all these things that you're gonna do, but my math most of the time sounds terrible, but a lot of times my math, I just do it. I just teach them. And today it worked out, you know, wonderful because usually the first day when you're introducing something, they want us to let the kids explore. And so we were cutting circles in half, we were cutting rectangles in half, and my kids actually cut rectangles in half in different ways. So one little girl made 2 triangles out of it, so she cut it diagonally, and then another little girl cut it vertically, another little girl cut it horizontally, and we talked about all the different ways you can do it. Okay, if this is half of a rectangle and this is half of a rectangle, are they the same? I used like an example, like so-and-so got a brownie and they got this half. So-and-so got a brownie and they got this half. Did they get the same amount of brownie, or who got more? And a lot of them were saying, oh, this person got more. But one little girl was like, no, they both get the same. And I was like, thank you for being my saving grace. Because I asked them a couple of times because they were certain that the one who had the diagonal half got more. But since they're both half of a brownie, it's the same amount. Not sure if that is making sense at all, but our math lesson was really, really fun today. I was a little bit rushed through literacy just because the first day of the week, we are always doing so much. We're introducing so many new things, so I always feel a little bit rushed on Mondays, I think. But other than that, I think it was actually a really, really great day. So I'm gonna stop babbling and I'm gonna let you go, and I will see you in just a sec. It is Wednesday after school. It's pouring rain. Don't know if you can tell or not. You probably can't tell. It's pouring rain. It's supposed to get freezing tonight. I'm saying it's gonna snow. Not sure if anybody else agrees with me, but I hope it snows. Everyone else is like, well, we might get ice. And I'm like, no, we're gonna be out tomorrow. No school tomorrow, I already decided. But today was actually a really, really good day. And I remember yesterday I was just feeling a little bit, I guess, just rushed. And today I had plenty of extra time. Granted, I skipped a lot of stuff that I normally do in my whole group lesson because we did a it's kind of like a write the room. We're doing light, so today it was like light sources and natural and artificial lights. And so I had like these cards all over the room with different light sources, and they had to go around with their little recording sheet and just say whether it was natural or artificial light. But before that even happened, my kids were at snack, and I overheard one of them saying, the floor is lava, the floor is lava, and I just had like the best idea ever. So while they were eating snack, I started like moving our little leaf rugs that we have and like putting other things like on the floor for them to hop across. And they were like, Miss Call, what are you doing? And I was like, I'll tell you later. And so we get to it, and I explained how it was gonna work, and we talked about light sources and everything, and the heat that comes from light sources. And so I said that we were gonna play The Floor is Lava, and they lost their minds. It actually went pretty good, I think. And my kids had a lot of fun doing it. And I was like, those kind of things are fun anyway, like anything to get them up and moving and not just sitting in the same spot. But the fact that we played The Floor is Lava, they were just like, you are the best teacher ever. And I was like, thanks. So that was fun. We are continuing our shadow writing. So for writing, we're doing The Day My Shadow Came to Life. And one of my girls, oh my gosh, you guys, I am so proud of her. It is literally like she is writing a movie on that paper. And I had her, you know, stop. I had everybody stop. I was like, please read what you have. Please share. And everybody was just so impressed with her, and she is a very shy student. Like, she does not put herself out there, but she was proud of herself. And I was like, I just feel like as a whole I was so on top of my game today. It felt really, really good, and math was fun, and it just was like a really great day. But at the end of the day, one of my little girls comes up to me and she was like, Miss Call? I was like, yes. She's like, this was a long day. I was like, yeah, you're right, it really was a long day. I've also been changing up my math routine just a little bit. I'm kind of letting, I talked about this yesterday, but I'm kind of letting the lessons free flow. I do bring them back at the end for our oh yeah, which is basically like their exit ticket, but it's always on post-it notes, and we stick it up on the board because the PowerPoint is projecting this big long thing, just to see if they got a concept or if I need to like reteach a concept. I'm doing questions that are really making them think, which I like. And they had a lot of fun with that today. But I'm also teaching them just more and more callbacks, and it's really fun because I feel like it makes our class a little bit special. So one of the things that I taught them, I don't know, maybe like a month ago, was if a student was up there and they were being brave and they were either doing work or showing work or explaining something, if the rest of the class is like, oh, they are wrong, instead of saying, no, that's not right, or, you know, something along those lines, to just say, and my class now is so good at it. They are on it. If someone is up there and they're doing something and maybe they count something wrong, or even a student who knows better, if it just like a mistake happens, they'll go, which really is great, because I had a couple students before who would always call out, that's not right, or you're doing it wrong. But now, if a student, you know, makes some kind of mistake up in front of the class, I see most of my kids immediately catching it, saying, because they feel more comfortable doing it. Because we talk about in our classroom how it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes help us grow, and like this whole culture around making mistakes. You know, like even in writing, we'll hug our mistakes. And I'm just like so proud of my kids. And so I taught them today, if you agree with what someone's saying, to just say, smart thinking. And they were being so cheesy about it. Like every 3 seconds they'd be like, smart thinking. Like they would say it just like that, smart thinking, smart thinking. And I'm like, eventually you'll die down and talk normal. But I think it's super cute and super sweet, because if somebody gets something wrong, they can just say, and if they're doing well, smart thinking. I also taught them a little chant, because one of my favorite things to do in the classroom is let the kids be the teacher. They love it, and it really lets me see like what they know. And I don't always pick, you know, the smart kids. I pick all different kinds of students, and I taught them that when it's their turn to go up and teach, they would say, my name's, we'll just say it's me, my name's Miss Call, watch me teach. And they'll say, Miss Call, what do you think, or what do you see, if it's a number talk. And they love it. They're all about it. And now people who didn't want to participate before want to participate now, because they want to do the callback with the class. And I feel like somebody asked me a long time ago in my live chats about callbacks, and I said, I don't really have any. Well, callbacks have changed my life. I love callbacks now. I am a callback girl for sure. That being said, I'm hoping there's snow tomorrow, or ice, or something, at least a delay. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be out, right? Please, snow gods. So I am clearly not a meteorologist, because we definitely had school today, and I was really hoping we wouldn't, just because it would have been nice to have an extra day. But we had school today, and it actually was a really great day. The only thing is, I'm pretty sure I'm getting sick. Like I have that feeling in my mouth and in my throat, so I feel like it's coming, and I haven't gotten sick all school year, so I'm not looking forward to it. On the upside though, even though, you know, we didn't have a snow day, it means that I didn't have to like adjust any of my plans or anything, so things went as usual for Thursday. And one of my favorite parts about Thursday is our writing time on Thursday. I usually extend it a little bit longer, and technically we don't even have a writing block at the school that I am at. Let me know if you have a writing block for your kids, because I feel like it would be so nice to have one. When at the school I student taught, we had a writing block for our kids, and it was a dedicated time for them to write. Here we don't have that. We're supposed to, I guess, just work it into our literacy block. But what I do is, my kids get out at lunch at 11:25, so then we do about 5 minutes for bathrooms. They come in, they put their heads down for about like 5 or so minutes. By 11:40 usually, we have started writing. I usually do some sort of mini lesson with them. And then they write, and we're supposed to start our math block at 12, but I usually don't start it till about like 12:10-ish afterwards, so my kids get a solid 30 minutes of writing in, just because I feel like my math block is a little bit too long for me and for my kids, honestly. We have I think a total of an hour and 10 minutes. So by taking the 10 minutes from my math block drops down to an hour, and that's been working out just fine for me. And I feel like I have seen so much growth in my kids already, and you know, just who they are as people. I can tell that they're growing up just by the way that they're talking, the way that they're writing, the way that they're drawing, the way they act, you know, in the classroom and with each other. Everything's just kind of falling into place, and it's really neat to see, especially in writing today. I gave them a little bit of extra time just because we have started narratives. So we're writing about the day my shadow came to life. And I told my kids, I want you to turn on your storytelling voice. I want you to be a storyteller. And a couple of my kids have just absolutely blown it out of the water. And we haven't done a writing like this yet. We started with, you know, informative and a little bit of opinion, and now we're finally doing narrative. And I am so excited, because this is like my space, it's creative writing. So I cannot wait to keep doing this with my kids. And honestly, I told my kids today, I was like, They freaked out because I stopped and I pretended to be a little bit upset, and I was like, I have a problem. And that's usually something that I say whenever I do have a problem, and I say, I have a problem, and they're like, and I'm like, what's my problem? And they tell me. But today I went, I have a problem, and I got all of their attention, and I just put on like the frustrated teacher face for them, and I was like, what grade do I teach? And they were like, first grade? And they were so scared. And I said, I teach first grade. What grade are you in? And they said, first grade? And I said, exactly. So why are you writing like a second grader? And they just died. They loved it. They were like, I thought you were mad at us. And I was like, no, I am the opposite. I am incredibly proud of you guys right now. And I had a couple of people share their writing, and it is just, it makes my heart so happy to see them writing like that. I mean, one girl literally filled up her entire journal page, and one girl I have at the beginning of the year, she could barely get out a couple of sentences, and now she's just going so strong in her writing. I also invented a new callback for us today. I think I talked yesterday about how I loved callbacks and how they were changing my life. Well, when I saw some of my kids writing today, I was like, we're gonna do a new callback. When I say, you are blowing my mind, you go, and now it's a thing. But yeah, overall today was a pretty good day. I did stay a lot later than I really wanted to. I said I was gonna walk out at 5:45, and I didn't walk out till after 6, obviously. But that's okay. And honestly, I don't even really need to stay that late, but I have such a problem with sitting down and just working straight through. Like, I have to take like little breaks or take a break at first so I can go ahead and get started, and then I always get distracted by things. So that is a goal I have for myself personally, is to do more work during the day so I don't have to stay as late after school, and then when I do stay after school, to focus my time. I really need to just write a list and do that list after school, but hasn't happened yet. I will check in with you tomorrow. So we're doing better than yesterday. It is Friday after school. It is about 4:30, and I am leaving. I got so much done today. My class was awesome today, but I do feel like I'm losing my voice. Not sure if I'm getting sick or what it is, but my husband and I are going to Knoxville this weekend to go hang out with some family, so I have to get out of here kind of early. Remember yesterday when I said I was pushing myself? I was on it today. I mean, I was Speedy Gonzalez in there, just filling in papers left and right. I'm doing something really fun on Monday with, I think most or all of my team is doing it too. In our files, we have like a bakery. I wish I knew who made it. Maybe I can put it in the description box. But it's like a bakery fraction themed kind of fun day. So for math, we're gonna do a little mini bakery transformation. So I got most of that stuff prepped. It's not gonna be anything huge, but on Friday we're doing our culminating task for our light unit. So that's gonna be another little mini transformation. And oh my goodness, I'm sitting here thinking about my observation, which is scheduled for next Friday. And I was gonna do a little zookeeping theme for math. So if that happens, that means my students will get 2 transformations in one day, and I just now thought about that. Like, not big ones, like not entire room, but like, wow. Okay, so that just kind of played out in my head. I have a lot of work to do this weekend. We are expected to get some snow next week, so hopefully that doesn't mess up anything. I am freaking out about my observations. Actually stopped by the office and talked with the principal and the assistant principal, and I was like, just in case of snow, what's our plan? And we have a plan A, we have a plan B. I'm going to be fine, it's gonna be good. I just have so much on my mind right now, but I am so proud of my kids lately, especially in writing. I think I mentioned it yesterday, but they are just blowing my mind. I honestly cannot believe it. I'm just really happy and stressed, but at least I'm happy. I'm not sure how much you'll hear from me this weekend, probably a little bit on Sunday, so I will see you then. Okay, so I'm a liar. I do have 2 more things that I wanted to share with you because I was thinking about them on my drive home. Yesterday, after school, around like 7:30 or so, I found out that I am the winner of a contest for a free nugget, or a giveaway for a free nugget. I am so excited. If you don't know what a nugget is, you need to go look it up right now, because it is like my dream to have one in my room, and now I get one. It was hosted by an Instagram account called A Teacher's Giveaway. Like, I think that's their Instagram handle. And me and Miss Cole's Kids on Instagram actually won, which if you don't follow Miss Cole's Kids, go follow her because I love everything she posts on Instagram. But we won, and we were talking, we were like, this is so cool that both of us won because they were giving away 2 nuggets. So that will be in addition to our classroom. I showed my kids what it was and they were like all for it. So I'm really, really excited to get that in there, and it works great with like my whole flexible seating thing that I'm doing. It won't be like a seating option, but it will be like an option for like reading and things like that. So I'm really, really excited to get that in my room. And then the second thing, I need to undo my seatbelt. I'm feeling some kind of way. The second thing is I had a little bit of a behavior hiccup today. I'm just gonna call it a hiccup because it really was not a big deal. I hate that it happened, but it's really nothing major in terms of behaviors. I told you guys last week about my 3 boys who always act up in the cafeteria, and I took away a very special reward that we get on Fridays. Well, today I go to pick my kids up, and one of my girls who never gets in trouble is off to the side, which is what happens when kids get in trouble in the cafeteria. That way, like, I know something happened. And she's crying, and I was like, what happened? Like, she never gets in trouble. Not once has she gotten in trouble. And the woman who works in the cafeteria was telling me there was a situation with 4 students, and there was like tray pulling and pushing and just like playing going on. And I was just like, oh, really? These 4 students, like, they never get in trouble? And I was like, okay, I'll take care of it. So I get back to my room, and they come to my table, and they are very upset because they remember what happened last week with the Friday special reward that we do, and I think they all thought that I was going to take it from them. And the only reason I didn't, and I told them that the only reason I didn't take it is because they've never gotten in trouble in the cafeteria before, and they don't get in trouble. And there was a lot of like, oh, they did it first, or so-and-so did it, and you know, all of that drama. But I tell my kids every day, like, you are in charge of yourself, and I give them strategies to use. Like, if you are in a situation that you know you're gonna get yourself in trouble in, then you need to debug. And that's just I got it from a classroom that I observed when I was in college. But if someone is bugging you, you debug, so you move away from them. And it's like been amazing with my kids, and I can tell them to debug too. So if I see 2 students who are kind of on the verge of getting in trouble, you know what I mean, I'll say, Maylene, you need to debug, and then they'll move. So, you know, I give my kids these strategies, and you know, what happened was really unfortunate that they got in trouble, but I ended up just taking dojo points away from them and saying, like, if it happens again, which I know it won't, then you know the consequence that's going to happen. And one of my boys was crying, and he was so upset. And even like losing dojo points really, really affects him. And his parents are not even connected. Like, his parents don't even see what's going on. Like, it's just his internal, you know, self that doesn't like it, which is good because dojo works for him, and it works for most of my kids, I think, but that's a whole other video. Anyways, he was crying, and so after the 3 students left my table, it was just him, and he's kind of hung out a little bit. He wanted to wait till they left, and he was like, Miss Call, I'm really sorry I did that. And I mean, he was crying, and I could just tell that he was just broken at that moment. Don't make me cry, like, I am the teacher, but like, you could see how upset he was because he doesn't get in trouble. And I really hate seeing my kids cry. Like, it really breaks my heart, but at the same time, it's okay. He was fine. I just, I don't like it. I hate it. That's like the worst part of teaching for me, is having to, you know, be a disciplinarian. And hopefully it won't happen again because I don't like seeing them cry. And you know, students cry all the time for different reasons, and some kids, like, I'm used to it and so it doesn't affect me as much, but students like him, like, I hate it. But he did it to himself. It was his own choice. So that being said, I am gonna go. I think I've shared all the news I have with you. Okay, bye. She went on to encourage African Americans to fight on behalf of the Union in the Civil War, for former slaves to be given places to live, and for desegregation of streetcars. She was an agitator and a fierce activist for equality. So Sojourner Truth started out as a what? Slave. And then she did what? Ran away. She ran away with whom? Her daughter. And then she went back later and got her son. So after she was free, what did she do? Why is she an important person we're talking about? After she was free, what did she do?